Happy Tuesday, everyone. Today we are learning target 3, performing operations with rational expressions. The operations we're going to learn about are multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. This video is just multiplying with rational expressions. Your pre-knowledge packet that you got over winter break had multiplying fractions, which are rational numbers, and when you multiply rationals, you just multiply straight across. So for our example from winter break, we did 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 6 is 18, and then we simplified that rational to 1/9. Our first example for multiplying with rationals is negative 3x squared plus 3x divided by x squared plus 4x minus 5 times x squared plus x minus 20 divided by 3x. So to multiply these two rational expressions, we multiply straight across. It helps us when we get to the simplifying step if we have our expressions factored first. So that's always going to be your first step when you're performing operations with rational expressions. Factor. Now would be a good time to freeze the video and see if you can factor each expression by yourself. Factoring the first expression, we factor out a negative 3x. That's my GCF. We're left with x minus 1. In the denominator, two numbers that multiply to negative 5 and add up to 4 are x plus 5 and x minus 1. Times, factoring the second expression, two numbers that multiply to negative 20 and add up to 1, x plus 5, x minus 4. And then the denominator cannot be factored. Once I'm in factored form, I can multiply straight across, which essentially is just writing all the factors multiplied next to each other. And as I'm doing this step, I think about which factors I can simplify to 1. So I see x plus 5 and x plus 5. The reason I'm crossing them out is because x plus 5 divided by x plus 5 is 1. Same with x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. That simplifies to 1. 3x and 3x simplifies to 1. Be careful, the negative is still part of my final answer. So my final answer is negative x minus 4. My second multiplying example, x plus 2 divided by x cubed minus 9x times just the quadratic x squared plus 6x plus 9. To multiply these two expressions, I need to see that this quadratic x squared plus 6x plus 9 can be written over 1. And now I will factor before multiplying straight across. First expression, x plus 2, cannot be factored. So now again would be a good time to freeze the video and see if you can factor these by yourself. The denominator I can factor out an x. That's my GCF. I'm left with x squared minus 9. I know that can be factored further. I'll do that in the next step. Second expression, two numbers that multiply to 9 and add up to 6, x plus 3, x plus 3. And then 1 cannot be factored. So I said before, x squared minus 9 can be factored further. So I'll do that before multiplying across. Two numbers that multiply to negative 9 and add up to 0, x plus 3, x minus 3. Over 1. And before I multiply straight across, I notice that x plus 2 is a factor by itself. I'm going to put parentheses around it because sometimes when we multiply straight across, we don't see that x plus 2 is a whole factor. We don't want to separate those. So now I'll multiply straight across, which again is essentially just writing all the factors multiplied next to each other. And as I'm doing this, I'm looking for factors that can simplify to 1. And I'm not writing the 1 down in the denominator because 1 times these factors is still just these factors, so that won't affect my final answer. Factors that can simplify: x plus 3. X plus 3 divided by x plus 3 is 1. I cannot cancel out this x plus 3 factor because it doesn't have 1 in the denominator to divide out with. X plus 3 was the only factor to simplify, so my final answer is x plus 2 times x plus 3 over x times x minus 3.